It's a knee kick, but it's more of a side kick.
Yeah.
What you do is you're turning your foot here.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, you don't want your hand back there, but you want your hand here. You can either use the blade of your foot, or you can use that heel. When I'm throwing my side kick, I will turn and I'll try to use my heel to ram into you, kind of like how you were saying with the knee with the last technique.
To use the ball of my foot onto the knee. We usually do more of a stomp.
Okay.
And like I said, that's more of the bone breaking, because when we shoot this, it's like I'm shooting to break your knee.
You mean like that Spartan kick?
Not necessarily here.
Yeah.
It's more just like a stomp either here or even a stomp down with your heel.
Yeah. If he gets that close, he is already too close to me. The purple circle is your radius, is the length of your arms. And anything that comes within the length of your arms is inside of your circle. Anything that's inside of my circle gets turned purple.
If it's aggressive, let's just clarify. Let's clarify real quick. This is for aggressive individuals. This isn't just for somebody like walking over. You're like, we're not just looking. We're not telling you that. This is somebody you know is aggressive coming at you from a distance. So let's just clarify.
They have singled you out. They say, this is my guy.
Maybe you've already had a situation go on with them. You could tell they're aggressive. It's very obvious that they're coming for you. Okay, this is that scenario, not just Granny walking up and you like, "Pow, Granny!" You got too close.
All right,
you got too close, Granny. I warned you. I'm dangerous.
My birthday card would have $20 in it next
dangerous.
No, but for sure.
Told you don't be interrupt my kung fu, Granny.
Warriors, come out to play.
What's up, guys? This is Edmund and Travis back again with the Warriors Way Home podcast, working on another segment that we're doing about self-defense techniques that we want to impart to you guys. Even though we've been in martial arts for a number of years between the both of us, we feel that we still want to bring self-defense on a more digestible level to you guys, for those who haven't maybe trained for a certain amount of time or maybe have no fighting skills at all. So these are things that anybody can do. This particular technique we want to talk about actually has application in any kind of space. So check out our last episode where Travis went into a situation where it was more kind of a bar scenario, leaning more on his security expertise and his background. But for this technique, it's something that is a bit more long range, something that is a bit more for if somebody's trying to push up on you, you are moving backwards, but you still have the ability to counter going forward. So,
sure.
So what this is actually a front kick. So in case a leprechaun attacks you,
a ninja leprechaun. Damn, I'm out.
Go, wait, ninja leprechaun. We can do it that. You can give you a green belt and everything.
Take my leprechaun, my Lucky Charms. I'm going home.
But you're lucky, you know what I'm saying? So, so this is actually a variation of a front kick. And this is the best way to think about this is what I call kicking in reverse. So if somebody, you're walking in a situation where somebody is approaching you, whether with a weapon, no weapon, or just basically being aggravated with your presence. Like we talked about previously, we don't even want, so in the previous example, we had Travis walking up on somebody. If he gets that close, he is already too close to me. What I teach my nieces and nephews is something that we call the purple circle. I think we actually talked about this on an episode way back.
Yeah.
Go check us out. So the purple circle is your radius, is the length of your arms. And anything that comes within the length of your arms is inside of your circle. Anything that's inside of my circle gets turned purple.
If it's aggressive, let's just clarify. Let's clarify real quick. So just to clarify,
if your grandma walk up on you,
this is not legal. This is not legal advice. We're gonna have this. See your lawyer at the bottom. This is for aggressive individuals. This isn't just for somebody like walking over. You're like, we're not just looking. We're not telling you that. This is somebody you know is aggressive coming at you from a distance. So let's just clarify.
They have singled you out. They say, this is my guy.
Maybe you've already had a situation go on with them. You could tell they're aggressive. It's very obvious that they're coming for you. Okay, this is that scenario, not just Granny walking up and you like, "Pow, Granny!" Got too close. You got too close, Granny. I warned you. I'm dangerous.
My birthday card would have $20 in it next
time. I'm dangerous.
No, but for sure.
Told you don't be interrupt my kung fu, Granny.
Right? For sure. So, this is a situation where,
Okay.
again, like we say, we want to take a defensive posture. We give ourselves a little bit of space with our feet. So, depending on which hand you use, you give yourself a half step back with one of your legs. This guarantees that you're not getting knocked over in case that person is coming up on you. They push you, push you or something like that. But what this does is it gives you a sense of balance. Again, we're going to put our hands up, not forming like in our fighting stance, but we're going to keep our hands open to show that we're not showing any kind of aggression. Again, you're not going to ball your fists up. You're going to leave your hands nice and loose, showing that you're not being the assailant. You're not being aggressive. So as that person starts to take a step back, we come here and we're going to move. We're going to have our lead foot and we're going to press either against the underside of his kneecap or right above his kneecap. You're going to use your toes, you're going to flex them back, and you're going to hit with the ball of your foot. That's the hardest part of your foot. So as you extend, you are going to hyperextend their knee. You could potentially break that knee, but you don't want to apply a whole lot of pressure. This is not a technique that requires a lot of force. The muscles in your legs are some of the strongest muscles that are a part of your human body anyway. So as we move backwards, he's coming forward, boom, and we're pushing back for your knee, kind of being like your elbow. How they flex differently. Let's say it's out this way. Your knee is meant to bend this way. You are hyperextending it this way. Mm-hmm. That's the part that it doesn't require a lot of force. You said like maybe like 10 pounds of force.
Yeah, usually with the anatomy part of this is one, there's not a lot of degrees of range of motion when you're flexing back on that knee. Just like with the elbow, if you're locking out that elbow, it's super easy to hyperextend it. Right. And even to do some real damage, it doesn't take a lot of pressure. You know, you're talking about maybe like to actually, break bone or to damage not just joints, but ligaments and cartilage. A lot of times you're looking at maybe 10 pounds of pressure, right, which the legs can produce super easy. It doesn't take much, which is why if you're going to practice this like we are, be very careful. Half speed, everything. Right. Is like even us knowing, how to do these different things. Like we go half speed with stuff when we're practicing it, because you go full speed when somebody like that, all it takes is a good. I think you mentioned that you had something go on with your knee.
I have hyperextended my knee before. So what I was doing was, I was going for like a roundhouse kick, and the guy caught my kick, and I tried to roll out of it, and I didn't actually go to the doctor after that. I don't think I've ever seen a specialist for it. Once you get hurt, go to the doctor, kids. I've definitely hyperextended this knee, and it's caused me problems since, pretty much. So I would say if you feel like you need to practice this technique at full speed to kind of get the feel for it, use a bag. The bag is a much better dummy than your partner. Yeah. So if you're here and you're trying to practice that, you want that lean back, because again, that person is most likely trying to throw a wild punch at you. And with your hands up here, it gives you a chance to actually give yourself a brace. No, you're good. It gives yourself a brace when it comes to trying to either block or gauge the distance of that punch. You come back, and what you do is you chamber up. It doesn't have to be high, but you're extending that leg, and you're pointing your toes towards you, because you want to hit with the ball of your foot. And again, it doesn't have to be hard, but you still want to get the motion of it, because you see, even as you're retreating, as you're taking that step back, you still have a good amount of your body weight in the same position, and you're just leaning forward. So you are almost, if you're throwing an actual front kick here, your hips are moving forward, moving that kick forward for you. But if you're attacking a lower part like the knee, you actually don't even need to move your hips out. It's literally here. Yep, right at your knee level. Right knee level.
And funny thing is, like I've trained in this same technique. We actually use more of the heel to kick instead of the ball of the foot. How do you feel about kicking with the heel of that?
So I'm actually glad you brought that up. If for those who practice actual martial arts, I use the heel more for my side kick. One of the variations of this, I'm glad you brought that up. One of the variations of this that we had discussed before filming was that I like the it's a knee kick, but it's more of a side kick.
Yeah.
What you do is you're turning your foot here.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, you don't want your hand back there, but you want your hand here. You can either use the blade of your foot, or you can use that heel. When I'm throwing my side kick, I will turn and I'll try to use my heel to ram into you, kind of like how you were saying with the knee with the last technique. But when it comes to self-defense kicks, it's really whatever's available. That blade of the foot is fine for something that low. The heel almost feels like it's almost like overcommitting.
Yeah, we usually do heel, and see, here's the thing about martial arts too, is there's so many ways to do different techniques. That if you learn multiple ways how to do it, it actually adds to your benefit.
Yes.
So like, you know, the way he's teaching, I was like, I've never learned to use the ball of my foot onto the knee. We usually do more of a stomp.
Okay.
And like I said, that's more of the bone breaking, because when we shoot this, it's like I'm shooting to break your knee.
You mean like like that Spartan kick?
Not necessarily here. Yeah. It's more just like a stomp either here or even a stomp down with your heel. Yeah. You know, to where or even if they're coming forward, just kicking here and pushing with that heel.
I got you.
You know, because a lot of times for that one, it feels like it's just a different way of doing it. You know, so it's just one of those things where we learn the same technique, but we learn it in slightly different ways. Right. And that's where you can benefit from, like I said, even having a partner who's learned something in a different way. It's like, okay, I never really thought about shooting that technique like that. Why do you do that compared to why do I do mine? Right. And even if you don't change up the way you do something, you learn more about it, especially when you're doing self-defense.
Right. Now, one thing I think that we might have missed from the last time we had talked about something like this is that the oblique kick is used in the UFC a lot. Now, I think John Jones is one of the main guys who uses this kind of technique. And with the oblique kick, that is a more turn to the side and aiming for the lower half of the body, where it's like the top of the knee. Yeah. It's not even anything below the kneecap. Yep. It's pushing down.
His goal is
that is the stomp that you're talking about. I just prefer personally, because I have the length, I have the range to do that, where I can just boom. Yeah. From here, I don't have to turn. I love to turn, but I don't have to turn, because especially if I want you to think, this is why I chose this technique ultimately, is because it's deceptive. If I already have my hands up here, you're expecting maybe I decide to go for a check hook or something that's a bit more controlled, and it's coming from a space that you can see that's chest high, depending on the height of the person. But when you're trying to be deceptive, because war is all about deception. And anybody who is trying to harm you and cause damage to your life, this is war. So, with that being said, how I'm being deceptive is that I'm actually choosing to attack the lowest and weakest undefended part of yourself, while you're totally distracted up here.
Absolutely. Yeah, I definitely think it's a super effective technique. Like you said, the biggest thing is if somebody's attacking you, if you're out in the street, somebody's being aggressive and they're coming at you, whether it's with a fist or it's with something else, you kick that knee, man. Kick it with some authority.
Put some stank on it.
Here's the thing I always tell people when I teach them is like, stop worrying about hurting the other person in that situation. It's like they're after you. Yeah. In that situation, they're trying to hurt you, do damage to you, or somebody with you. Somebody you care about probably. Is like at that point, all the rules kind of go out the window, all the humanity, and it's like, oh, I don't want to hurt this person. They might have, mental issues. I can deal with your mental issues after I break your kneecap.
So tell me why you did that. Why'd you come at me, champ? Like, I want to understand.
It's like you can think about all
while
your
writhing in agony.
Yeah, you can think about all your issues while you're on your way to the hospital. It's like that's not my deal. My deal is you're attacking me. I need to get back to my peoples. Right. Or you're attacking my people. I need to defend them.
Once you started to try to attack me, I no longer care about your
safety. Yeah, it's like, I don't care. I don't really care about your safety. Now, it doesn't mean I'm gonna try and like just put you under the ground. It's like, but at that point, that level of humanity really kind of cuts out at that point. Yeah. It's like, if I kick you in the knee, I'm kicking you in the fucking knee.
Right. As you should.
Yeah. So
because like you got to think about it this way: the person who was attacking you shows that they don't care about your safety, so you should return that in kind. Yeah. And exactly. Don't think, oh, I hurt this person, they're never gonna walk again. Maybe they were trying to make sure that you don't walk again. maybe put yourself in. That sounds like weird. Put yourself in their shoes. Like they were trying to hurt you.
Yeah.
And this goes for women as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Especially women.
Yeah, I was about to say that, especially because it's much more of a the more female I've trained, it's like they're much less likely to actually use that aggression and to like to tap into that violent side. Is like, but some guys too are very kind of reserved. It's like, and you can't, in a situation like that, you can't be reserved. You have to be brutal.
Right.
It's like self-defense and violence, it gets brutal, man. It's like you have to set your mind to that part where you can tap into that. That's a piece of what we talk about in the rest of the podcast and everything we do is being able to tap into that mindset when necessary, like situations like this.
Right.
You got to be able to deliver maximum violence at that time.
But and I just understand, this is the other part of that. This is once you understand how to use something, how to use certain techniques, it is your due diligence to figure out when is that not applicable.
Absolutely.
When is the right time to shatter somebody's kneecap? It's a real question.
Yeah.
When your life is in danger, when somebody's trying to threaten your wife or your child, I can't really, I don't want to say that. There are definitely situations where you or your people are in danger, and this is the only way you're getting out. If it means I get to walk home, I'm gonna take that one.
So not when the Girl Scouts won't leave you alone.
No, not when they present. I'm like throwing money at them, so I'm the wrong person to ask about that.
So he's fighting them for their cookies.
Right.
I'm fighting them to keep them away from trying to give me cookies.
I am taking small children and beating them with each other so that I can take.
So he can take. So he's robbing. You hear that? He's robbing Girl Scouts.
Yes, I'm robbing Girl Scouts.
So he uses this technique to rob Girl Scouts. Shame on you, sir. Shame.
No, listen. I got no excuse. I actually got no excuses.
None would be valid right now, sir.
If Thin Mints were, it's actually their fault. If Thin Mints weren't so delicious, we wouldn't have this problem.
On that note, we should probably close that before Edmund
legal counsel
continues to incriminate himself.
That's fine. Shout out to Troop 459. So. Alright, so this has been another tutorial for self-defense with the Warriors Way Home podcast. Find us on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, TikTok, anywhere podcasts are held and hosted. And be on the lookout for more techniques like this coming in the future. So again, we want to impress upon you guys the importance of self-defense, overall safety, and also spatial awareness.
Useful. Not that Instagram, TikTok bullshit.
For sure.
Yeah.
So he has a real problem.
I feel a certain way about that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. You'll find me a Girl Scout now.
Yeah. Ha! Again, guys, we just want to make sure you understand that it is better to be a warrior in a garden
than a gardener in a war.
Peace out.
Take it easy.